Hi there, welcome back to the channel. So I've got all my stuff set up here because I have a new song and I want to work on the arrangement and use the Zoom to record it. I'm not going to actually record this song today. What I do with the Zoom is I use the live mic. So I arm track 7 and 8, and if you look at track 7 and 8, you'll see that you have these gain knobs, right? So you're going to want to set your level wherever you want to be in your room to get those live mics up to the right level. You want to get good signal to noise ratio. So I'm going to push my master all the way up to 0 level, and I'm going to push these gain knobs as high as I have to in order to get signal, because guess what? It doesn't have to sound great. All I'm doing is documenting the song with the click track, metronome is on, so that I can play drums along to it, and build my track the way I usually do if you've watched any of these videos. So this is step 1. Step 1. And this is even step 0, because step 1 is going to have to wait for a whole week. I'm leaving town tomorrow, going all the way to Florida for a vacation, a holiday, for a week. And I'm going to take my camera and I'm going to think of some videos I can make that I can do while I'm there, so I can stay active with the channel, because I'll probably be bored some of the time. I mean, not bored, because I've got my family, my kids, there's lots of stuff going on, but there's lots of just dead time, and I want to stay active. And I will go back and I will go through some of the videos I've made and sort of clean up some stuff, put more descriptive text that'll help people, and also the timestamps. So if you don't want to hear the long anecdotal story or whatever, and you just want to see how did I use that mastering effect or whatever it is, I'll make sure to put those timestamps in there so you can get right to what it is you're looking for. Because I know it's annoying when you're trying to figure something out and somebody's like yapping for a long time before they get to the point. And that is me, man. That is like my thing, is like lots of yapping. Alright, so now this song, brand new song, this was actually written with Mark and John from my band East Orange and Spy, and they are two brothers, and I've got a little brother story that I want to tell. But I wrote this song with them a few weekends back. It was a while back. We were doing a series of house parties during the shutdown as a way to play live. I did a few of those, and it would be like Careful and everything, and so we would all get together, and at one of these John started working on a song. Mark and I jumped in, helped him with his song. Then they started helping me with my song. Unfortunately, I couldn't come up with a chorus while we were all together, and they probably think I ditched that tune and just buried it. But it's alive and well, and I think I've gotten it pretty good. We'll decide after I hear this arrangement. I'll be able to hear it, when I play it back. That's just part of why I like to do this now. Start at the very beginning, because I haven't played this song out live. I haven't been playing live, obviously, and so I haven't been able to play any of these tunes out. So it's kind of tough to write them and record them right away, because you don't get any time with them, to build them up. And I like to have multiple versions. I kind of consider these records demos in a way. I'm doing them on the Zoom. I mean, I'm properly making them as good as I can make them. But if I get to record with the guys and we go to Hugh Patcham, he used to want to record us. We go go see Hugh. I'm not going to turn that down. And if somebody wants to record one of these songs, of course I'm going to do it. So I like to have multiple versions of songs anyway. Who cares? So I wrote this with Mark and John, and writing with brothers I think is a fascinating thing, and I think it's really amazing. I'm thinking of all the bands that have had brothers in them and how those bands are really special. And I remember a major league producer guy met us pretty early on, and he heard the tape and he was like, brother chemistry. He really noticed that Mark and John were locked down with each other, the drummer and the guitar player, kind of like the way Led Zeppelin was. Bonham and Page were locked down, and usually it's the bass drum and the bass player is locked down in Led Zeppelin to an extreme degree. But there's also connection with the guitar player, and that's the same thing with Mark and John, and people notice that, So there's like a brother thing. It's like a yin and yang thing. I've noticed with really close brothers, and most brothers obviously are close, especially if they grow up together, they have this thing where whatever thing one does or doesn't do, the other one does. So it's really an interesting thing to see, especially when you're talking about music, you know, when they're working together and there's like this connection already that develops. And if you already have a brother, I can't even imagine. I was always kind of like mildly jealous. I always wanted to have a brother, and luckily I've had 2 sons. So I've been able to watch them do the same brother thing too. They're also musical. So it's incredible. And it makes me remember that I've had this type of experience before early on in my development with brothers. I had, when I was living in Houston, Texas, I went to high school in Houston. I went to a school called Bel Air, and a couple friends of mine there, they were twins. And they actually went to Westbury, which was a really fun area, fun school, like way more laid back than the Bel Air scene. Bel Air was like the academically challenging type of vibe, and this was much more fun and like, you know, much more to my rock and roll liking, more to my taste, you know, the way I was trying to flow in high school. I should have been doing my schoolwork though, you know. The kids at Bel Air were really working hard, and they all went to like really good colleges and all that kind of thing, so I should have been doing that. But I was screwing around too much. But I was friends with twins there. They were twins, and they were the same way. You know, like they had this whole thing, an unspoken thing, and they could read each other's minds and all that kind of thing. And so I was fascinated watching them, and they were both very musical. And when I met them, I thought they were incredible because they were like a 70s they were both like 70s throwback. Like they wore like jeans and Hesher boots, like the chukka boots, and they actually had wallabies. I mean, it was really cool, like the jean jacket, wallabies, blue jeans, Metallica t-shirt, Triumph t-shirt, you know, if you get the picture. I thought it was really cool because it was 1984 and everybody was like full on 80s, and I was trying to be 80s too because I wanted to fit into my school, and they were just like, whatever, man, it's 70s forever for us, we don't care. Thought that was really awesome. And then when I went to their house, they had they were upstairs, and they had one of those beaded 70s curtains, and they made these incredible metal compilations from MTV. They would have all the like rare, weird videos, late night stuff, and they would make these amazing tapes, you know, that we would watch them, you know, all the time for hours incessantly. And it was just really an interesting dynamic to watch how they operated. And Hal was heavily into thrash metal, and this was the dawn of, you know, thrash metal, 83, 84. And I heard Metallica, you know, for the first time through him, Slayer, King Diamond, so many, Saxon, all this interesting stuff. You know, he was listening to this late night metal show in Houston. I forgot the name of the radio station and the name of the show, but it's just way back in the day, and they would make these tapes, you know, and mail them to each other. It was really crazy. The early thrash scene was really interesting to document. But and then Jack was really into like classic rock type stuff, more like what I was into, and he knew all the obscure kind of like other artists, you know, like Montrose or Triumph, stuff like that. He had that kind of interest, and now I think both of them are like really heavily into Texas-centric country, outlaw country, and I know that stuff well too because I grew up in Texas. I was born in Waco, and my dad was heavy into outlaw country, Viva Terlingua, you know. So I love that stuff. All right, so I think the brother thing is important because, you know, when you're working with brothers and you're around brothers, there's something kind of magical about that relationship. So I'm excited to have worked with them and to write songs with people again because I've been on my own for so long now. And I just really think that it's something special about being in a band and like everybody working together and, you know, recording together. Even though I'm sitting here doing all this stuff by myself, I actually have, you know, full respect for that process. And I think it's, you know, a beautiful thing. It's like family to me now because they're my brothers even though we're not related. I feel like we're all like one family. It's like I basically assimilated into their family, you know, after I left my own. And we had a rock and roll family that went around, you know, traveled around. So it's fun. It's interesting. So, brothers. So this song has brothers in it, but the actual content of the song is even more fascinating to me, at least. Lately, I've been completely enamored with John Keel books. He's the guy who became famous for writing the Mothman prophecies. but he mainly is like a monster book writer. He like writes these crazy stories, like X-Files type stuff, you know, like crazy monster mystery stuff, like people see Loch Ness or they see Bigfoot, Sasquatch type things, or just crazy winged creatures like the Mothman, or maybe things falling from the sky. I became aware of a guy named Charles Fort, Fortean literature, and that became a whole subgenre of like pulp, you know, science fiction type literature. And he basically would document or he would research stories of people saying things like, you know, I saw the chariots of the gods in the sky today, or I saw a ship go by, or some slag fell, or a wheel fell down from the sky. These, like, you know, ridiculous, miraculous, you know, highly odd, unbelievable events that don't really have rational explanations, and no one's for sure if they really happened or not. They become myth or legend. And I find the whole thing fascinating, whether it's true or not. I find even the hoaxes are fascinating. You know, like that people would do that, and then other people would actually believe it. And it's incredible. So the whole thing is fascinating to me and fun and interesting. And I've been reading so many of the books lately, obsessing on it, that I wanted to figure out a way to somehow, you know, incorporate it and encapsulate it into a tune. And I kind of did that with We Know Them, because this also sort of is into UFO culture and, you know, that kind of thing. That they call it the etheric world, the idea that there's like perhaps, you know, another world of things that we can't see going on that sometimes sort of pops into our dimension. Who knows? I mean, it's ridiculous. It sounds ridiculous. It's not really a thing that you talk about in a logical way. I think people kind of create this kind of magic for themselves. I have no idea. It's been going on for centuries. But I wanted to figure out a way to kind of get it into a tune. And one of the things I learned about was the idea that in primitive cultures, probably dating back to the Middle Ages, was the idea that from 12 to I think 4 a.m., with 3 a.m. being the peak, was like the witching hour. That's when the scary things happen, and those that are in touch with that scary side are out conjuring it up or summoning it or whatever. So stay away, stay clear. Sounds scary to me. I'm going to hide inside my house. I don't want any part of it. So that's what's happening here. It's like a scary song. I think the main inspiration for this tune, if I have to really be honest, is the Kinks' Wicked Annabella. And I believe that's on Arthur. I don't know the Kinks as well as I should, and I keep telling myself I will, because every time I get into a Kinks record, I freak out and like think they're the greatest thing ever. Ray Davies is like, brilliant. So I think it's on Arthur, and it's called Wicked Annabella, and to me it's like a Halloween song, and I love it. It reminds me of the Twilight Zone Jezebel, about the Jezebel. She's a shapeshifter and like a black cat. That's a good one too, kind of like this, you know. So it's all coming together. We've got twins and brother chemistry, artistic chemistry, and Fortean and John Keel wacky stuff. So that's what it all is. That's a lot of information. I'm sorry. Okay, so the main kind of like the strong part of the song, I think, is the little opening bit. The little opening riff goes like, and this is going to be probably pretty bad, so I'm just going to kind of rough through this and just see if the arrangement works. So here we go. But this little riff, I think, is kind of like the strong suit of the song so far. So it's like, so I do that 2 times through, and I don't want to record it right now because I don't have the tempo set, and I don't want to start recording this till I know what tempo I'm going to do, because what I'm going to do is I have the KB3 here. I'm going to be singing through that thing. The KB3 will be playing back the metronome. I'll be recording, so the whole thing will be captured on beat. You know, it'll be on the metronome. So then, when I play it back in my headphones and I'm playing drums, I can stay on beat, you know, make it work for the song. So I don't want to do any of that until I decide on the tempo and make sure that this song is good and this arrangement is good. So here we go. I'll just kind of try to burn through it as best I can. What I'm mainly doing is the riff, a verse, a half chorus, you know, like we only do half of it, so that you get right back to the verse again. Although then we'll have a break and go back to the original riff, do another verse, a full chorus this time, a bridge, not a full middle eight, but like a kind of a short bridge. It could be a middle eight. Somebody that knows counting can tell me. Middle eight goes in, out of the chorus into the middle eight, out of the middle eight into, or the bridge, into like a little musical interlude, like a solo, you know, some kind of interesting part that'll intrigue the ears. And then probably back to a chorus, or a chorus out from there. Maybe the riff comes back again. So that's what I'm going to decide. I'm going to work on this here. It'll be documented on camera, and I can decide. And I'll be gone for a week, you know, so while I'm gone, I'll be able to really decide, and then when I come back, I'll make the video. While I'm gone, I'll continue to make videos. I'll make while I'm in Florida. I'm going down to Florida, so while I'm down there, I'll try to make a video or two. And I'll also work on some of the ones I've made, like put timestamps and some more descriptive text to help the people, you know, find the things they're looking for. You know, get right to the point if you're looking for information on how to do something with the Zoom. So I'll also use the time to do some of that kind of stuff. All right, so I'm going to just kind of try to run through this and see if this arrangement is for real or not. that song is kind of hard to sing because there's a lot of talking in those. Ooh, midnight's come, we don't go there. Ooh, me don't go, it's the witching hour. Yeah, I don't know. And I'm thinking that I don't do a verse at the end. I'll do 2 verses. I'll do a verse, half chorus, verse, full chorus, bridge, come back. Come back, do verse, 1 chorus, and end with the riff again. Yeah, I think that's how to, because I was thinking that I was going to outro chorus and just sing the chorus out to the end, like in a repetitive way, with some kind of cool like outro riff. But that time I could tell that it kind of the chorus isn't big enough to rule, you know. So it's more like the sum of the parts as opposed to waiting for this one big payoff point. It's kind of like a samey song. So it's going to be up to me to pull out the moments that really would grab people's attention and make me excited to play it. Because it's not so much about what can I do to make people like it. It's like, what can I do to make it exciting for me? And if it's exciting for me, I think it'll be more likable for the listener, you know? I don't know. Suddenly feeling like a lot of work. It's suddenly feeling not as good as I thought it was, which is what always happens. So I'll go back and watch it. And even if I don't ever use this song again, I'll put this video up just to show you my process. It might help you with your Zoom process. Because this is what I do. I write the song. I come up with some kind of arrangement. Now that I have this YouTube channel, I have a cool way for myself to go back and study what it is that I'm doing and decide if it's working or not, you know? So now I kind of have an arrangement of this song documented on camera. I'm going to record it here with the live mics by arming 7 and 8, working my gain up, hitting my metronome, running it through here so it can be in the room as opposed to headphones, and then have this going so you can hear a live mic, a live vocal amplifiers on. Now, I could also do this by plugging directly into the Zoom, right? Putting a mic in, headphones on, and you could listen with the headphones on and sing along and play with one of the things. I just like to do it like this in here because it makes me feel more like I'm playing live. You know, it's more of a natural feeling. Whew. All right. Sorry for all that talking. But I'm going out of town. I'm going to clean up some of these videos, and hopefully I'm going to make a few videos. There's good light there. It's Florida. There's more light than there is here, so I won't have my lights, but I'll have my camera, so I can take photos of the family. And I'm hoping to get a few videos made. Find some anecdote or some cool thing that comes up that I can make a video about next time.